Welcome to Holding Space with Authentically Amy. This is a place where you don't have to perform, prove, or hold it all together. You're allowed to exhale, to feel, to speak, or just be. Here, your truth is safe, your emotions are honored, and your soul is gently invited to the surface. I'm not here to fix you because I don't believe you're broken. I believe your soul already knows the way. My role isn't to give you advice, but to hold a steady frequency of love so you have space to rise. This podcast is an extension of my own healing. If you're here, you belong, and I'm honored to sit beside you. Welcome, Tobie. Thank you so much for allowing me to hold space for you today. I'm so honored that you choose to be here. If you don't mind to share what's heavy on your heart today that you want to talk about that I may be able to help with.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the opportunity. I have to say, this is not a question that ever gets asked, so it's an interesting and vulnerable place to be.
It is.
Um, yeah, so that's the truth. I recently had a conversation with a friend of mine and talking about being the founder of a nonprofit. And she's been laid off, and she said, if I was independently wealthy, or if I had a partner who paid all the bills, then this is what I would do. I would do what you do. And it's just taking me back. I'm like, yeah, just so you know, we're not independently wealthy. um, we as a family have given like so much of ourselves and like of our savings and our ability to earn to be founders of a nonprofit organization. So just that, I just was like, how do I come to terms with that? Um, but I did let her know that that is not actually our truth. And it's not my truth in any way, shape, or form. And then a big question that I've been asking myself is just moving in from a fully volunteer position running the nonprofit to either taking on another job that's a paid position or finding ways to make money while serving, while doing what I do for others.
Yeah, that's a tough place to be. It really is because we are heart-centered people and we want to do what we can to share love and to help the world. And I totally get that. That's where I'm coming from too. And a lot of times society doesn't reward that monetarily or financially. And it's a tough
Mhm.
place to be. But I would ask you and her, the first question that came to my mind for her is that what's preventing you? But just like you don't have to be independently wealthy to do something that your heart is telling you to do. And, I fully believe that if you have that desire in your heart, that you have a gift to do it as well. You've also been given the gift to do it. And just figuring out the best way to do it for you is kind of the path, the thing that you need to focus on. And so it sounds like to me that the thing that you're really dealing with is how to balance continuing to follow your passion of helping the nonprofit while also
Mhm.
doing something that you feel like needs to happen to support your family. That,
Yeah, that's where we are, Amy.
yeah, yeah, I totally get it. I want to just, this is, I'm authentically Amy, so I just share authentically. I am who I am. And as I told you before we started recording, Tobie, that I don't see bodies, I see souls. And so I really do see past all of the things in the front and go right to the heart and see what's there. And I will just be honest with you, and I feel a sense of desperation from you. Would you say that that's true?
I don't feel desperation, no. I feel like a finding of a balance.
Okay. Okay. So if what would the version of you, just I want you to think about this, because there is a version of you who is already doing what you want to do. Like the future version of you is already doing what you want to do, already has everything she needs and is fulfilling her life's purpose and doing everything that she wants to do. And if you were to step into that version of you, how would things change in your current reality? Like, what would change for you right now if you stepped into that version of you that already is doing everything that you want to do and has everything that she needs? Are there things that would change in your current reality?
Not necessarily. My life is incredibly full of love and joy and goodness. The only thing that's missing is just a way to relieve stress from my husband. That is just a financial stress, and that's it. He loves what I do. He has supported what I do for years, and it's just a matter of like being being the partner that helps pay the bills instead of being the partner that's just like like taken care of.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, I get that. So if you had a friend in this situation, which you have a friend that you were referred to, but she's not exactly in the situation, but if you had a friend that was in the same situation that you are right now, what advice would you give her? What would you suggest that she does?
Yeah, I think that's what I'm doing is following my own advice. Originally she reached out saying like she wanted ideas on how to start a nonprofit, and I just told her I'm like I think there are people that do this, and I'm not one of them. I don't make money running my nonprofit, so I'm not the person that's going to be able to give you that kind of great input and that great insight. Um, So yeah, I mean that's I've been looking for just a job that makes money that still allows me to run Be Humanitarian and do the good in the world. So it comes to just back down to like that balancing beam.
Yes, yes. The next question I want to ask you is, do you feel a sense of peace right now? Like, are you peaceful in this space that you're in your life right now?
I am. I have so much peace um, and so much love for just the world that I get to live in. It's just plain and simple, like the financial obligation um, that would relieve the stress. And it's stress that my husband feels.
Yeah. Well, and if your husband feels it, then you feel it too. I mean, you're deeply connected, so you feel it too. I understand that. So I just want to, excuse me. I just want to clarify because I feel like I'm headed down the wrong track here. It's that you're finding the balance in you're wanting to find the work. Is that where you're headed right now?
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
looking.
I want to find something that allows me to earn an income while supporting Be Humanitarian and making our nonprofit. Like, just still keep all the awesomeness about that and just split my life a little. I've done full bore all the time, Be Humanitarian for so long. So just kind of splitting my time, which just comes, yeah, it just keeps coming back to me as like balance.
Okay. Are you wanting to look for a job outside, like work for someone, or do you want to continue working for yourself?
I've looked at all of the options. I've been applying for jobs. I've been looking for work. So it just needs to be like something that allows me flexibility as far as a couple weeks off every year so that I can be in Guatemala and doing my work. So yeah, I'm open to all the things. Um, Discouraged instead of, I think I can definitely say that I feel like a bit discouraged. I have been looking for work and have applied for a couple of jobs, some that I thought would be perfect fits, and they ended up not being interested in me. So I think just a little bit of discouragement is mixing in to the reality of needing this new balance.
Okay, so that's what I was feeling then. Instead of this desperation, it's discouragement.
I
Yeah,
definitely feel that.
Yeah, I feel that too from you. And I feel like that's your soul's way of telling you that you're looking in the wrong direction, that maybe there's a different path you need to take or a different direction that you need to go down. I have
Mm,
experienced this in my life too, because it's like I knew I was supposed to do specific things. Like I kept getting these opportunities in my life, but they never worked out. And they were amazing opportunities, but they never worked out. And I kept saying, what is going on? Why are you sending me these opportunities if you're not providing
mm,
a way for me to do them? And then it was like, you're going down the wrong path. You're taking the wrong,
mm,
you're not like it was like my soul was showing me something, but I was so focused on what I thought I should do that I was completely
mhm.
missing this whole new path. And so I
Yeah.
just wonder if that could be the case for you.
Oh, it could definitely be the case. But I feel like um, my goal when I started Be Humanitarian was to make it like just work. Like it was never about money. So that has just shifted the last couple of years where it's like this new stress and, like, oh, maybe if I was working for money, like we would have college funds for our children and like the things that a lot of people that don't run nonprofits have for their children and like those things, so it's just that like that question of is this the right thing for me and for my family if I don't bring any income in. And so then when it shifted from, yeah, I need to make money doing this, then it feels like it's just been stagnant. The work continues, my love for the work continues. Our children are happy and healthy and growing and eating and going to school, and that's like the thing, like, right, that's what I always wanted. So the beauty of the work is working, and then it just comes down to like money. It just comes down to making money doing something that is doing good and that I love doing.
Yeah, that's so important because once we get our hearts involved and pour our passion into it, then everything else does seem to fall into place. And so, I keep going back to this. I wonder if it's time to shift to something else. It sounds like you have done beautiful, amazing work in this organization, and that
Yeah.
um, they have benefited so much. But to me, it sounds like your soul is telling you something else.
Mm.
Whether it's to add something else onto that or to maybe shift altogether. But if you're experiencing that much stress, in this role and looking for something else, I just feel like there's a path that's missing. There's a piece that's missing here.
Oh, there's something that's missing. Yeah. There's an absolute disconnect. And, like my assistant's like, well, we just need to get more volunteers. Like, and like we were having this conversation yesterday. She's like, I'm feeling so frustrated. Like,
Mm.
we had opportunities the last couple of months. I had this really amazing, what could have been a really amazing opportunity. And after some like real looking into the opportunity further, it was clear that it wasn't a good opportunity. Um, and so after a couple of months of working for that to happen, we pulled away. And I was like, so she's just still sad that even, she's like, I'm so sad that it didn't work out for you. And I was like, yeah, I know, but that happens. Like, so
Yeah.
the work is still working. And I think that's a really beautiful thing is that, and I reached out to a friend of mine who has a boutique, like referral job where she hire, she can help you find jobs. And she's like, wait, I'm just terrified. Are you going to quit Be Humanitarian? Are you closing that down? And I'm like, oh no, like it's still working. Like the day to day is still working like beautifully. Things are going well. It's just that everyone else I know gets paid for their work. So it's like, where is this intense disconnect that's happening for me?
Yeah. Yeah. It feels like your soul is pulling you towards something else. And I don't know what that is. Only you can know what that is.
I've set all the stones. I've built, I've placed all the bricks where I thought they would build upon, and it just hasn't worked. It's just so, no, like, unless I was, and my soul would definitely not be comfortable or happy with me losing this work.
Yeah.
Um, so it's just a shift from, and I don't really care. Like, I was looking at something like working at a car dealership and driving a car and running parts, like brainstorming about that with my husband last night. I'm like, I don't care. Like, I don't care what it is. It doesn't have to be sexy. It doesn't have to be like grandiose. Like, it just has to be something that fits with, like, that allows me to run Be Humanitarian like a couple weeks a year and be in Guatemala. Like, really. So that's just like a normal job. Like, that's not like
Yeah.
an atypical career path. Um, so yeah, it's just never worked how I planned it working, when I was like, oh, I can make money doing what I love and doing this beautiful work.
Yeah. That when things don't work out like that, when they're constantly hitting that brick wall, constantly hitting, and it's just not flowing, then that's a signal that something needs to change. And, sometimes it's kind of like I said earlier, that sometimes we think things are supposed to go a certain way or supposed to happen a certain way, but maybe there's a different way. Maybe there's a different perspective that can change Be Humanitarian into something that you really want it to be, maybe just not the way that you envisioned it. Does that make
Right.
sense?
Yeah. And we've got a couple things on the like outlook, with moving just that way. Like, things that last year I was like, I don't know if I'd be interested in that kind of collaboration. Um, now I'm like, oh, heck yes. Like, if that would create more jobs, then that would, like, for our community in Guatemala, like, that would be great. However, the bottom line, it still comes down to, like, maybe it's just a shift in my own mind, because so often people are like, okay, well, how can I get paid for that? Like, that's like a question I'm asked often, like when we're brainstorming a collaboration. Like, okay, well, how do I get paid for this time? And it's never something that comes to my mind. Like, when I'm brainstorming like a collaboration with somebody and a way to create money, like, that always goes back to our community. Like, it just, I don't think like, oh, well, I have to make $5 off of every item I sell for myself. So maybe it's just a matter of like really shifting. And I appreciate that, because I've spoke to a friend about it last week, and she's like, well, I need to make money doing this. I'm like, wow, that's so foreign to me, that you
Yeah.
want to like make money selling something that comes from our community in Guatemala. Like, I'm like, okay, so I have to like figure out a way to make that make sense in my mind and in my heart.
Yeah, that's just so beautiful. I love that you shared that. Thank you for sharing that. It feels like, gosh, it's heavy right here, that shifting the mindset is huge. I mean, it can make all the difference in the world. And do you think that, and I don't know what your beliefs are, I say universe, God, whatever you believe in. Do you believe that God, universe, whoever you believe in, gave you this desire and this gift to create this organization, and but was not providing for you in that way? I mean, nobody would say that's what I believe I'm supposed to do, is just sacrifice everything. I mean, people do, but I don't believe that that's why we're given these gifts and these desires, is to sacrifice everything. The way energy works is whatever we put out into the world is what comes back to us. It's just like an algorithm, like the social media algorithm works. There's a spiritual algorithm that, on the algorithm on social media, whatever you click on and whatever you view, that's what you get more of. And in life, it's the
Right.
same, that whatever we put out there, that's what we get more of. So if we're constantly saying, I'm going to sacrifice everything to do all these things for other people, but we're not valuing ourselves enough to say that I deserve to be paid for this. This podcast, I charge for it. And that was a huge step for me because I had to own my value and own that what I am offering is worth being paid for. And so I do think you're hitting the nail on the head right there with the mindset of, is what I'm doing worth what the value? Do I deserve to be paid for what I'm doing? You absolutely do. And I can tell you that, your friends can tell you that, but until you start believing that, then nothing's going to shift.
Yeah. And truthfully, Amy, I also believe that. And that might sound like contradictory, but I also have our bank account. And I know, like, I have our Be Humanitarian bank account, and I know what we can do with the money inside of that bank account and how many people we can feed and all of the things. So it's just like this, like, well, really, like, my paycheck is really important when I'm talking about feeding malnourished kiddos. Like, really? Like, it seems like that's where it's just been really difficult. Like, I don't take money from donations. And you would be surprised how many people are like, "Oh yeah, you shouldn't." So in my line of work, I have been asked, "Well, how much money do you make? Like, what do how much money are you taking away from Be Humanitarian?" And I just look at them, I'm like, would that question be like a question that would ever be acceptable for me to you as a
Right.
business owner? Like, would that ever be okay for me to be like, "Hey, dude, how much money do you run? How much money do you earn running your XYZ company?" So I don't think that it's just my own mindset. I think we've got like a cultural mindset that's also that's also weighing in on my mindset
Oh,
that
absolutely. Society. Yeah.
that nonprofit work should be free, that nonprofit, that people running nonprofits should not be paid, that it should be like you give it all and you don't take any. So I think that's like there's a lot of years of hearing that kind of stuff just from the general public, from lots of different people. That like that's affecting, because in my heart of hearts, like I know that the work I provide and the work that I do, like it's worth a lot of money. It's worth more than I've ever been paid. So then it's just the finding that dollar, and as a nonprofit founder, like it's always about like creating more money. Like, okay. And then once it's created, like it's, when you're dealing with feeding malnourished kiddos, then it's so tricky for me to say, well, I need to take a portion of that. Like that's just really difficult for my own self. So that's why I've always thought, okay, well, if this isn't working, then I'll just go get a job. Like, because other people have jobs and they make money and they do this just fine. And then I can run Be Humanitarian on the side. Because I've spent so much time creating it, and we really are at a place where so much of it is running. Like, it's just like a smooth machine at this point. I mean, I've been, working very hard for 13 years to do this. So maybe we're at that place where I'm like, okay, I can go get a job like everyone else I know and have an income, and Be Humanitarian will be this beautiful, creative, product that continues.
It sounds to me like you're, while you do believe, and I know that you do believe that what you're doing is very valuable and that you're helping many, many people. It also feels like you're devaluing yourself by not paying yourself for doing that. And if you go get a job, they're going to pay you a certain amount. So if you're in this position, you should get paid a certain amount. And I know that's hard to say, because I know you're thinking about all those people that you want to help. But I want to ask
Mhm.
you, like, what would happen if you took the money, if you paid yourself what you were worth in the work that you do? What would happen?
It feels like I would take away. It feels like I'm taking away from Be Humanitarian, like, and the potential of growth and the potential of good that could be done with that money. Um, but other than that, like, what would happen would be like stress released from my husband that's been a rock star, and from myself. Like, that's really what would happen. We'd have a lot less money in the bank, and you know, I would have more money in my personal bank. Those are the just That's just the reality of what would really happen.
Exactly. And I'm
So,
going to flip that around on you and say that that stress that you're living under also holds an energy, and that's what you're putting out there. And if you were able to pay yourself what you're worth, remove that stress, then I can almost guarantee that things would shift in your nonprofit because you wouldn't be bringing that stress into it. If you paid yourself and you didn't have to get a job, you could spend your all of the time that you want focused on being humanitarian and do more with it and feed your soul and feed that passion that you love to do. And if it's just this one area that's stressing you out so much and preventing you from really digging in and allowing your soul to shine in that, it may be worth considering.
right. It's also really scary to say that, Amy. Like, that would
It is.
like be zero our balance. Like, that would like zero out what we have in our Be Humanitarian bank account. Like, just to pay myself like a small, it wouldn't even be like a salary of what most people would work for. It would just be like a, a first for us to get paid.
Yeah. Is it something that you could do incrementally? Like just begin to pay
Mhm.
yourself a little bit at a time so that you can keep some money in that account and just show the universe that you're going to do this, that you're not devaluing yourself anymore, that I know that I'm worth, that what I'm doing is worth a lot. But now I'm taking action. I'm putting my feet to my beliefs, and that changes everything in the world of energy. We can think something, but when we actually start taking action to put our feet to it, it changes the whole dynamic. And so, even just a little bit, maybe at a time, to kind of shift that
Mhm.
dynamic of taking some of the stress off might be
Right.
helpful.
Yeah.
Is that something that you could do?
Yeah, I think so. I've been thinking about that just yesterday. I was like, well, what if I just took like a small, a couple $1,000s to pay myself? Like, how would that feel? So,
Yeah. And it'll probably feel uncomfortable at first. You will feel guilty. You will feel like you're cheating somebody of something, but you're also
mhm,
valuing yourself. And
right,
it will start to feel more normal. And, I have a nonprofit as well. And I would just be completely honest with my employees and my board and just tell them what's going on and just say, this is what we're doing. Because I
mhm,
want to, if we don't do this, I'm going to have to get a job and we're not going to be able to focus as much on Be Humanitarian. And I want my life to be about Be Humanitarian. And this is what needs to happen.
right,
However you want to go about it. But I feel like the more transparent you are, the better. And who cares what society says about it? If people are going to say, well, that's so selfish of you, they don't live your life. They don't have to live your life. They don't have to live under the stress that you live under. You get to choose.
right.
You get to make that choice and make that decision for you and your family.
Mhm. Yeah, my board knows. They know that I haven't got paid. So it's just a matter of like making the step, making the move.
So really, you're the only one preventing that from happening.
Hmm.
Yeah. So something that it sounds like you need to sit with and just see see what the options are, and that's something that you feel like you could do, feel comfortable doing.
Right. No, it's a good idea just to do a small amount. Definitely, I couldn't do a big amount because that would be so stressful. So a small
Yeah,
amount, like bite-sized pieces, that could work.
yeah, yeah. And you might just try it and see how it goes. Um, and increase that amount the more that the other count grows. And
Mhm.
just, I really feel like once you get that stress relieved, at least some of it, that things are going to shift, things are going to change. I really feel
Well,
like
I
that.
think that's awesome. I'm all
Yeah,
for it.
yeah, yeah, me too. Get rid of that stress. I love what you're doing. I love your heart. I love the beautiful soul. You have such a beautiful soul. I want you to know that. We often
Mm,
don't recognize that within ourselves because, especially when we're heart centered people, we do so much for others that we don't focus on
right.
ourselves. But I want you to know that you have a beautiful soul. You're doing beautiful work in this world and you're helping so many people, and your light is just shining so brightly. And I want to help spread that message too. So if you wouldn't mind to share a little bit about Be Humanitarian and how people can reach you if they want to know more about it and to help support you.
Well, you're awesome. Our match, we're on the same wavelength, same
I
color
know,
of
that's right.
yeah, that's awesome. Um, so our whole focus with Be Humanitarian is to inspire global citizens. I would love to see people like that want to take on a hands-on role in improving the world. So we uplift lives and we change lives by providing thousands of meals a month and gardens and jobs and security to most of our families are single moms. And so we've just created this really amazing community of really hardworking individuals that weren't able to feed their kids 3 meals a day, and now they can. And what they often say is that this is the first time in their lives that anyone has ever had their back. That
Mm.
this is the first time in their lives that they've felt a sense of security, that they know that somebody's going to be taking care of them. So that works 365 days a year. Our kiddos are eating and going to school, their families are cared for. We constantly are creating or looking for collaborations with corporations or small businesses that would like to get involved because we have seen a lot of really beautiful work that happens with an employee situation where employee retainment or retention and engagement and satisfaction really skyrockets when a company is working with a nonprofit and engaged in something more than a paycheck. So we would love to work with any of those organizations that are like making money and then are like, wait, we can pay it forward. We can do something from this place. So then going to Guatemala is like by far the coolest thing ever. And I get to lead volunteers and we get to walk on the same streets that our families walk on and go to the schools where they go to school and shop in the markets where they shop and serve. So we get to be involved in their homes and building homes, installing wood burning stoves, like just really like we're really dealing with the basics. In October, I've got a group coming and of volunteers, and we're going to be building restrooms for our families. A lot of people still use outhouses and wash in like a public wash space. So to be able to give our families like a shower and a flushing toilet, like those are just like the daily things that are going to make their lives easier and safer and more hygienic. So that's just a little bit about what we do. And we also sponsor all of these kiddos. So, like, if anyone's interested in getting involved, they will get a sponsorship package with a photo of the kiddo that they're sponsoring. And then they get to see exactly what we're doing. They get to see all the work that's being done in Guatemala.
That is so beautiful. I see those people sending out pictures of sponsor this child, and I have heard before, that the money doesn't even go to the organization, that it goes to somewhere else. But the fact that you all are going there in person, you see those children, they're real, And you get to see firsthand what the needs are there so that you can help provide what they actually need. Because sometimes people send things that they don't even need that's not going to be helpful. But you are on the ground. You get to see what they really need and help provide that. And that is just so beautiful. And I love how they said that you have their back. Like they've never had someone to have their back like that. And that's just so beautiful. And now you get to step in and have your own back, maybe in the same sense, and it's just such a
Yeah.
beautiful thing. Thank you for what you're doing. If you wouldn't mind to share your website or how they can get a hold of you.
Yeah, we are on all the social media posts. We're on every channel. So behumanitarian.org. That's a call to action. So I'm inviting everybody to be humanitarian.
Beautiful. I will also include all of that information in the show notes with a link that you can just click on there to contact Tobie if you're interested and learn more about what she's doing. This beautiful, beautiful, beautiful thing that she's doing. Tobie, thank you so, so much for being here today. Is there anything else that
Thank
you
you.
would like to share or say before we wrap up here?
Nope. Thank you for your time. I'm glad to have been here.
Me too. I really appreciate your willingness to come on here and to share and be vulnerable. I know that's not an easy thing, and I hope it has been helpful. And for those of you watching and listening, thank you for tuning in. I hope that you will support Tobie and that you will share this so that more people can learn about this podcast and be humanitarian. And until next time, I will be holding space for you. Thank you for being here. And to my guest, thank you for your honesty, your courage, and your truth. It's an honor to hold space for people like you. If something in this episode stirred something in you, if you breathed deeper, softened, or felt a pull inward, consider this your invitation. Whether you're ready to share publicly or prefer to remain anonymous, I'd love to hold space for you too. This work isn't just for podcasts, it's for people everywhere. And I'm bringing it into businesses, schools, communities, organizations, anywhere humans need a place to be and for someone to hold space for them. To learn more or to schedule your own session or to be a guest on this podcast, visit www.getamyshelp.com or just reach out to me. I'll meet you with open arms and a quiet, sacred seat. Until next time, thank you for being beautifully, unapologetically human.